"You're a disgrace, don't come," my mother said before my sister's dinner. But when the dinner spiraled into chaos, they video called me, and my sister's boyfriend saw me on the screen. He froze and blurted, "Hello, boss." The entire room went silent. The masks on their faces had fallen away. It wasn't always this cold. Or maybe it was, and I just chose not to see it. Growing up, my sister Ashley was the Sunday everything revolved around her. She was the golden child, the one with the effortless charm, the one praised for her vision as the CEO of her tiny startup. My parents adored her. They saw her as their legacy. Me, I was the black sheep. I was Hannah, the quiet one, the dry one, the one who was too intense. I wasn't a CEO with vision. I was just a vice president at a venture capital firm. I didn't just have vision. I funded it. But in my family, my success was intimidating. Ashley's was celebrated. I remember when Ashley raised $10,000 for her first company. My parents bought her a new luxury sedan to celebrate her business acumen. They never mentioned that they were the ones who gave her the $10,000 in the first place. When I closed my first $50 million fund, I told my dad. He just nodded and said, "That's nice. Did you hear Ashley is redesigning her logo?" It's a strange thing, this dynamic. Psychologists call it the golden child divided by black sheep setup. It's not really about love, it's about roles. One child is assigned to be the family's public image, the one who carries all their hopes. The other one, is assigned to carry the burdens. And I carried them. For the last 2 years, I've been quietly paying for my family's membership at the Austin Heritage Club. That's the exclusive old money country club where my parents love to spend their weekends, and more importantly, where Ashley takes her potential clients to network. They couldn't actually afford the dues. So one night, my mother called me crying, saying they would be humiliated if they lost their membership. She said it was critical for Ashley's startup. So I paid it. A loan, she called it. $25,000 over 2 years. $25,000. So my sister could perform the part of a successful CEO, using my money to maintain a lifestyle she hadn't earned, while I sat in my office analyzing the very pitch decks she was desperately trying to emulate. I was the invisible engine, and Ashley was the shiny hood ornament. I kept paying. I kept my mouth shut. I told myself it was just my duty. I told myself it was what you do for family. But that was before my mother sat me down at that coffee shop, her eyes cold, and told me I just didn't fit the brand. My mother, Stephanie, asked me to meet her at a small cafe in the Domain. She looked perfect, of course. Her hair was immaculate, her jewelry understated but expensive. She smiled when I sat down, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Hannah, thank you for coming." She started stirring a sugar packet she didn't need into her espresso. "I wanted to talk to you about Friday night." I nodded, already bracing myself. "The party at the club." "Exactly," she said, her smile tightening. "This is the most important night of Ashley's career. Her boyfriend Tyler is bringing several other venture capitalists. These are very important people, Hannah. The kind of people we need to impress." I waited. I knew what was coming. "The thing is," she continued, finally looking at me, "we need everything to be seamless, polished. And you, well, you just don't fit the brand." There it was. "You know, your clothes are always so simple. Your job is so intense. It makes people uncomfortable when you start talking about market projections. We can't have you making things awkward for Ashley." I felt the air leave my lungs, a cold numbness spreading through my chest. She was officially uninviting me from a party I was paying for. "I understand," I heard myself say. The voice sounded distant. And as the words left my mouth, I wondered why I said them, why I didn't fight, why I didn't scream. It's the thing people never understand about being in a role for so long. It becomes an invisible prison. You live with these unwritten rules, these emotional chains you can't see. It's called learned helplessness. You've tried to be seen, you've tried to be heard, and every time you were told you were too much or not enough, so you stop trying. You just endure. You become the person who absorbs the disappointment to keep the peace. You agree to be erased because it's easier than fighting a battle you know you'll lose. I had lived in that prison without bars for 31 years. I understand, I said again. My mother's face flooded with relief. Oh, thank you, honey. I knew you'd be the sensible one. I knew you'd understand it's for the best. I just nodded, picked up my bag, and stood up. You're leaving. I have a meeting, I lied. I walked out of that cafe, and as the door closed behind me, I felt something snap. It was quiet. It wasn't angry. It was the sound of the very last chain breaking. I was done being the sensible one. I was done being their sacrifice. I didn't go home. I went back to my office. My office is on the 34th floor overlooking the Austin skyline. It's all glass and minimalist steel, a space I designed myself to be efficient, clear, and quiet. As I walked in, the irony hit me. My mother thought I didn't fit the brand, but she had no idea what my brand actually was. I sat down at my desk, the leather chair, sighing quietly. I didn't turn on the main lights. I just let the glow of my monitors light up my face. I opened my private banking portal. Not my company's, mine. There it was under scheduled payments. A recurring transfer for $3,000, set to go out tomorrow, a full day before the party. The payment was listed as Family Heritage Sponsorship, the polite term I'd invented for the monthly fee that kept my parents in the Austin Heritage Club. The club Ashley was using to impress her investors. I picked up my phone. I didn't call the bank's main line. I called my private banker, Michael. He answered on the second ring. Hannah, good afternoon. What can I do for you? His voice was always warm. Michael, I said my own voice perfectly, even I need to cancel a recurring payment. Of course. Which one? The one for the Austin Heritage Club, code Family Heritage. I need it canceled immediately. There was a slight pause. Immediately. The next payment is scheduled for tomorrow. Are you sure? Yes, I said. Stop this one and cancel all future transfers to that account. Consider it done, he said. No judgment, no questions, just efficiency. Anything else? No, Michael. That's all. Thank you. I hung up. I stared at the screen. The pending transfer vanished. It was done. $25,000 gone. And no more. I closed the banking portal and opened my work email. My inbox was flooded as usual, but one email flagged urgent sat at the top. Subject: Urgent Meeting Request. Astratec Pitch Deck seeking Hava. My eyes narrowed. The sender was a Tyler, the CEO of Astratec, Ashley's boyfriend. I opened the email. It was desperate, full of buzzwords and projections pleading for just 15 minutes with HW. That's what the inner circle called me. Hannah Warren, HW. The investor who could make or break a company with a single yes or no. He wrote, I know you're selective, but our vision aligns perfectly with your investment thesis. We just need the chance to prove it. A no is better than this silence. I looked at his name, Tyler, the man my family was humiliating me to impress. The man who was at this very moment probably helping Ashley pick out her dress for the party he believed would save his company. A party that wouldn't happen. A meeting that would never be scheduled. I didn't feel anger. I didn't even feel satisfaction. I just felt the cold, clean click of a lock falling into place. I dragged his email from my priority inbox and dropped it straight into the declined folder. I didn't even bother sending a reply. He already had his answer. Silence. I closed my laptop. Outside, the Texas sky was turning a deep shade of bruised purple. The first lights of the city were starting to flicker on, and I just sat there in the dark, perfectly still, waiting for the phone to ring. Friday night. I was at my home office, deep in a stack of financial reports for a new energy sector investment. My apartment was quiet. I was focused. At exactly 7:03 p.m., my phone lit up. My father, Brian. I let it ring, but my focus was broken. It stopped, then immediately started again. I sighed and picked it up, putting it on speaker. I didn't say hello. Hannah, what did you do? His voice wasn't a question. It was an accusation, sharp and furious. I'm working, Dad. What is it? Your mother's card was just declined at the club. At the front desk in front of everyone. What did you do? I'm not sure what you mean. The payment, Hannah. The club dues. They're saying, we're not members. Fix it. Transfer the money right now. I was silent. I just looked at the blinking cursor on my screen. Did you hear me? I said, fix it. Ashley's investors are arriving. I said nothing. Hannah, are you even listening to me? You. I pressed the end call button. My hand was perfectly steady. A few seconds later, a new call. My mother, Stephanie. I let it go to voicemail. A text message popped up immediately. Hannah, please, I'm begging you. They won't let us in. The manager is here. This is humiliating. Ashley's investors are waiting in the lobby. You're ruining everything. Please just call the bank. Please. I read the message, then read it again. You're ruining everything. The everything she was talking about was her lie. The image she'd built on my money. Another text came through. This one was from Ashley. It was all caps. You are doing this on purpose. You've always been jealous. You are sabotaging me because you can't stand to see me happy. I hate you. I looked at that word. Jealous? Was that what they thought? That I was jealous of Ashley? I wasn't jealous. I was just done. Done being the foundation they walked all over without ever looking down. Done being the invisible support system for a life I was never invited to be a part of. My phone started buzzing again, vibrating violently on the desk. My father, my mother, Ashley, back and forth. A frantic chorus of missed calls and angry, pleading texts. Hannah, pick up the phone. Brian is going to have a heart attack. How could you do this to me? They were right about one thing. I was doing this on purpose. I watched the phone buzz a storm of their creation. They had built their entire world on the assumption that I would just keep paying, that I would keep absorbing their insults, that I would always be their silent, reliable, forgotten daughter. They had made a terrible calculation. I picked up the phone. My thumb hovered over the power button. I silenced it. I put the phone face down in my desk drawer and closed it, plunging the room back into a beautiful, perfect quiet. I turned back to my financial reports. Their party was over. My work was just beginning. My phone stayed quiet for almost an hour. I knew they were scrambling. I knew they were angry. but I also knew they had no power. Then a new call came in. Aunt Susan. Aunt Susan was my mother's sister, the family's designated neutral party. She was the one who remembered birthdays and sent cards, the one who tried to stay out of the drama. I figured she was the peacemaker. I answered, putting it on speakerphone. "Hannah, honey, what is going on?" Her face was blurry on the video call, and the background was chaotic. I could see the polished marble lobby of the Heritage Club. I could see my mother Stephanie dabbing at her eyes with a cocktail napkin. I could see my father Brian arguing with a man in a sharp suit, the club manager. Ashley was pacing back and forth, her perfect updo coming undone, her makeup streaked with tears. "Hi, Aunt Susan," I said calmly. "I'm just working." "Working, Hannah, your parents are. They're losing their minds. They said the membership was canceled. The manager won't let anyone in. All of Ashley's guests are here. Her investors." "I know," I said. "What do you mean? Did you do this?" I took a slow breath. Aunt Susan, Mom, and Dad uninvited me from this party. They told me I wasn't on brand enough to be seen with Ashley's new friends. My aunt's face froze. "They... what?" "I was uninvited." I repeated, my voice as clear and steady as a surgeon's scalpel. "So I just stopped paying for a party I wasn't welcome at." Aunt Susan was speechless. But someone else wasn't. In the background I saw Tyler. He had been off to the side, frantically typing on his own phone, probably trying to salvage his evening. But he'd overheard my voice. He stopped. He turned slowly toward Aunt Susan's phone. He walked over, pushing past Ashley, and stared into the camera. His face was pale. "What? What did you just say?" he asked. "Tyler," Ashley said, grabbing his arm. "What's wrong? Don't worry about her." But Tyler couldn't look away from the screen. He was looking at me, really looking at me, and I could see the gears turning in his head, the recognition, not as his girlfriend's failure sister, but as the woman from the venture capital profiles. "Wait," he whispered, his voice cracking. You're Hannah Warren from the VC articles. You're H.W." The lobby went completely silent. Even my father stopped arguing with the manager. "What are you talking about?" Ashley snapped. "That's just Hannah. H.W. What is that?" Tyler looked at her, and the expression on his face wasn't just panic. It was a kind of horrified awe. "H.W.," he repeated, his voice shaking. "Hannah Warren. The partner at Lone Star Capital? The one I've been trying to get a meeting with for 6 months?" My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father took a step back. "Ashley just stared. That's not possible. She's just Hannah." "She's the Hannah Tyler," finally roared, losing all his composure. He ran his hands through his hair, his eyes wild. "My company, Ashley. The pitch deck. I've been killing myself over. The money we need, the only person who matters in this city. It's her. She's the investor who can save us." He pointed a shaking finger at my face on the screen. "And you," he said to Ashley, his voice dropping to a terrified whisper, "you told me she was just an embarrassment." I watched them. I watched all their masks shatter at once. My mother's humiliation, my father's shock, Ashley's dawning horror. And Tyler? Tyler looked like he had just watched his entire future burn to the ground. And he had. I looked at Tyler's horrified face through the small screen. His desperation was palpable. My family was frozen, staring at him. Then, at my face on the phone, the pieces finally clicking into place. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "Your pitch deck was declined," I said, my voice quiet but clear. "Good luck with the rest of your evening." And then I ended the call. My apartment was suddenly profoundly quiet. The only sound was the faint hum of the city outside my window. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel anger. I just felt free. I turned off the phone and set it on the table. I walked to the window looking down at the lights of Austin, and I thought about everyone out there who felt just like I did. This is for you, for the ones who always feel like you're on the fringes, the ones who sit at the big family dinner table and feel completely, utterly alone. You're the difficult one because you speak the truth. You're the sensitive one because you feel the injustice. You're the black sheep because you refuse to blend into a flock that's going in the wrong direction. I want you to know something I wish I'd learned years ago. Your worth is not determined by their inability to see it. That feeling of not belonging isn't a weakness in you. It's a sign that you were meant for something more. It's the friction of a strong, authentic soul trying to fit into a space that was too small for you from the very beginning. They don't see you because they're not looking, but your value was never up for their vote. You are not their afterthought. You are not their ATM. You are not their convenient problem solver. You are the main character of your own story. So stop waiting for them to invite you to the party. Go build your own. Have you ever had to step out of the shadow someone else put you in? Share your story in the comments below. I'm reading them all.